Alrighty, GLL Wingman Series number 2 is in the grand final stages, and I'm here. My name is Natu. Hello, and I'm joined by Joachim, who's a bit of a we've got a bit of a situation in our hands here in terms of travel. Some things just don't pan out the way you expect them to.
Yeah, Avenker's supposed to be here, as you all expect and think, but his flight got delayed by a few hours. So I'm gonna be here for game 1, and then he's gonna join us for game 2 and going forward.
Yeah, I mean, even I almost got stuck in Helsinki because there's fire trucks, police everywhere. I was thinking, I'm going to be stuck here, not going to be able to fly. Fortunately, though, none of my flights were not delayed, so I got here in the end. But let's just straight jump into it and talk about this whole. First of all, I think it's a cool concept. We're playing duos here. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, originally you see people playing squads, etc., but now when we're doing duos, it's more of a fun-esque way. I participated in the first Wingman series. And it was a blast, pretty much.
Yeah.
You play with your friend, and you're not mad when you lose or die. It's more, it's just like fun in that sense.
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of in the sense it's more intense with duos. Yeah. It represents both individual skill, but also the prowess of being able to do things as a unit. But without further ado, let's get the structure of the event and the system here on your screen, so we see what's being going on here. The EU round 1, 30 lobbies, top 6 teams. From each lobby we move on. Then we had the round 2 with 5 lobbies. Top 4 teams from each lobby move on. And obviously right now we are in the final stages. We had 6 lobbies for the NA round 1 as well, who made all the way into the final stages now. All that happened today until I believe we're here for till roughly 11, 12. Yep. So quite a few hours here of duos PUBG. And honestly, this is probably the format that I played the most out of all the formats, just because obviously when you're just playing casual matchmaking styles, squads can be, let's say, what's the correct term without cursing here? A bit of a handful.
Yeah, frustrating in many ways.
Yeah. Frustrating is probably the right way to put it. Yeah, I
myself prefer duos as well. I love playing it. It's like, it's more individual based in that sense, and you can do around this duo and work together more than a squad is more about, I don't know, it's a bit frustrating because you down people, and then they will get right pretty much, because it's more, I prefer those in that sense. Yeah,
I mean, in terms of professional play, obviously, squads works because there's so much in depth in terms of strategy, the way you can play things out, sort of execute, taking over, breaching houses or certain parts of the map. So that's a massive element. But when it comes to duos, it's so dynamic, it's so fast-paced. I feel like we're going to have a lot more early contention coming up here in the games, and I think that's going to be something that people are going to be looking forward to. It's not going to be the normal when you have like actual competitive PUBG where the early stage of the game is more quiet down. I think we're going to have much more action in the first part of the games.
What I prefer with duos is also that you have a bit of a CS-esque thing with, if I knock you, then I know that your team can either res you or fake res you, etc. So you have that mind game leveling thing going on that you don't really get in squads per se. So it's more like 2-on-2 small quarter situations. What will they do? What do they think that I will do, etc. And that's why I really like duos.
Well, let's look into the teams that are going to be here battling it out in the finals. I know a little tidbit here for everyone. A certain old school player called Vilden from the Counter-Strike community. We're going way back when, somewhere in here, playing under the fake nick that I can't remember anymore. I think it was player 036, actually.
Yeah, he played in Eyeballers 15 years ago. Maybe, I don't know, you probably played him, being an old school CS player.
He played for SK.
Yeah.
For NIP.
Yeah, I know.
So a lot of very, very famous teams back in the days.
Another name that I noticed is Mad Ruski, a streamer that used to play with Ninja back when he played PUBG.
Before he jumped ships.
Yeah, before he jumped to that other game that we're not going to mention.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
But it's a bit different. We have also Drassel, another play that I recognize, and it's a lot of plays that you don't normally see, mainly because it's duos. So you will only see the nicknames, but we have some teams here that are recognizable at least.
Yeah. No, I think so too. It's going to be a lot of fun, this one. I feel like another old school nickname, Smeagol. I don't think it's probably him. He used to cast Counter-Strike also a very, very long time ago, back in the day when we were young and pretty faces. Not so much anymore. Yeah. That's all we got from that. But yeah, no, I think this is definitely a lot of fun moving forward. And then obviously a week from now, it's going to be the finals for the GLL. So
yeah, coming up on Saturday, we have yeah, the finals for GLL, 16 teams, 8 from Europe, 8 from North America, and they're going to duke it out for the Season 1 finals in Bucharest.
Yeah,
and you're going to be there.
Yeah, I will be there. Bucharest, first of all, is a lovely place to go to. I would advise everyone go there. It's probably not the kind of place you think of when you're thinking of planning a vacation per se, but it is actually a surprisingly nice city, so you should definitely check it out. But that's going to be a week from now. First, we got this here to take care of, obviously, as we are waiting for the games to happen. Would love to see, obviously, like I said, I'm actually very, very excited to see how these, what kind of depth in terms of like strategy these teams do show us, because it's obviously going to be names that are necessarily not in the competitive side of PUBG as much.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mixture of both worlds.
Yeah,
like I said, an old school CS player coming in, he made his way into the final stages of this tournament. So yeah.
Yeah, you can't really put your squad strategies in this duo, so it's going to be more how will the teams do the duo strategies and what will differ compared to the squad. So it's going to be fun to see in game 1 and set the tone like, yeah, we're going to do this. Also, it's not professional, so it's not really set where people are going to drop.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, FaZe likes to drop in Milta power plant.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a bit different because people have no idea where they're going to drop. So that's why we might see some early action as well.
Yeah, the word is that we're still waiting for a couple players before we get to go live, so bear with us for a little bit here as we're going to continue discussing this format and this whole thing coming up here in very little time. But yeah, I do agree. It's definitely a lot of fun. What do you think of in terms of like now, obviously, the whole settings and how the teams have been talking about it back and forth in terms of like how we've been changing the amount of ARs, the amount of scopes, and all that kind of stuff that's going on?
Yeah.
What's your feeling on how it's developed so far?
Yeah, my take is it's going like slowly forward. People are still trying out things. Some tournaments have 2x AR, some have 1.5, and we're all mixing it out, and eventually we're going to get a set format. It's a bit like somewhat early Counter-Strike as well, where we had, what was it called? The round-based...
Charges only.
Yeah, round, and then with MR12, and then we developed Counter-Strike as well. So every game needs a development phase, and still only the first year of PUBG. 2018 has been like the first esports year, so we're very young in that sense. We're still testing out what's good or not. And
there's a lot more variables compared to a lot of the different games than Counter-Strike. Obviously, you have the zone, you have obviously the loot, and all these kind of different variables that need to kind of be honed and found the perfect middle ground. It took years for Counter-Strike to find the format that we do see now in terms of round time, in terms of max rounds. There was many years that we played in the format of 20 minutes of half, charges only, so only T-sided rounds would count. And then we had the MR12, obviously, 12 rounds, but then the pistol rounds were too effective in that sense. And now we've gone to MR15. So it takes a lot of time for these things to develop, for sure.
And also the maps are so huge compared to other games maps where it's like a part of the city, but this map is 8 by 8 kilometers.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to keep that in mind when going in and balancing tournaments, because sometimes you will end up here, sometimes you will end up in Sharky, and other times you will end up in Georgie Paul. So it's like you need to find a middle way that works for many situations instead of being around a smaller area in sense.
Yeah, I think that's a good segue to discuss Savage, actually. I think that was a very interesting. I tried it when it came out, and I thought, you know, I liked the pacing. I liked it, especially as a player who I have, in terms of just raw FPS game, like kind of instinct, you could say. I like the way of being in contact, battling out all the time. I thought it was a lot of fun.
You played a lot of FPS.
Yeah, exactly. I've played way too much FPS in my life. You know, we're talking over 20 years.
Yeah.
What's your take on Savage?
Yeah, I played Savage like a night when you could test out the map, and I really liked in that sense. It was really fun to actually just... It felt like a map designed for combat.
Yeah.
Not that in like a map that's similar to something in real life, but more combat.
Yeah.
So it's very small core, it's a smaller map, and we actually announced Wingman, a Savage edition. So our third series is going to be on Savage, and we haven't set a date yet because we don't know when the map is going to come. But we've still seen a huge interest in people signing up for that Wingman as well. So that's going to be our upcoming Wingman somewhere in May.
Okay.
But I really like the map. It's fantastic for more competitive-esque thing.
Yeah, even if it's not even finished, you know, you should see it's really rough in terms of a lot of little details here and there. Obviously, it is still in development, but I thought as well, you know, a lot of interesting dynamics to it. Obviously, everything that's in there is just in the favor of it being like a compact map. You have, like, for example, it was fun to see, like, the river. I can't remember which part it was, but you can actually literally walk through the river. There's like a little sand part there that you can walk through, but it slows you down massively. But you can still make it through over without swimming. That's got little things that I thought made it a lot of fun to play. Honestly.
Yeah. So far it's still like they're changing it up still, so we're gonna see how the end result, how the map will be in the end.
Yeah.
But so far my first impressions are super cool. I like it, and I want to see competitiveness in that sense and see how the pros take on that map, because it's so different compared to Miramar and Erangel.
Yeah, and then obviously going down into further in the development of the game, if we see more maps, you know, there's already hints about the snow map eventually coming out, for example. What are we going to have in that? What kind of changes will that make in terms of, like, are you going to have, like, trail of what's it called?
Footprints.
Footprints, exactly. That's the word we're looking for. That
yes,
you can
literally
track hunt people down, right? And then maybe blood trails and stuff like that.
Yeah. And the mind game by having a trail and you have like an ambush set up. And
then obviously, you know, having like a different ghillie suit for snow ops.
Yeah, that would be crazy. I love snow maps. Playing DayZ way back, there was a snow map, and it was so fun. It's like, especially when I'm from Scandinavia, I'm used to snow, so I think it's like cool.
So am I. Yeah, we're both from Scandinavia.
So we're both familiar with snow, and it's cool to see like the environment that.
But look at this. Yes. There is a game coming up here. We are on the island. The plane is taken off, and it is going, well, you could say west to east. It is dissecting the map into two pieces here.
Yeah, and as we mentioned previously, people don't know where they're gonna drop because it's not set in stone compared to pro play. So we'll see how people.
Yeah, Pachinki definitely gonna be interesting to see how many people decide to go there. You can see, for example, Vladcott is just checking out how many people are going there towards Pachinki right now. And we see it is gonna be quite busy down there.
Yeah, and another thing to take in consideration is that it's duo. So in that sense, you don't need a full city for yourself.
Yeah.
You can get away with getting half of your depot, for instance, and still be fine when it comes to loot.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, let's see how it starts developing here. Jakenov and his friends up in the north part there in Georgopol do have most of the north side of the map of the town for themselves. They're not going to have many contests happening early on. In terms of how the loot is going to go. So, yeah, I think the Pachinki area is going to be the most busy one here in terms of, I think, actually, we do have a bit of action going on here.
Yeah, Mad Rudsky alone versus two players with a pistol, so...
Where's his teammate? That's the question.
Yeah.
Did he not land? Did it already go down? That's the question. Did we not pay attention?
Yeah, maybe we didn't. 61 alive, so one have died in that sense, so it might be him.
Okay.
Maybe we didn't pay attention, but we'll see.
The word is his friend forgot to connect, or something happened. We don't know exactly, but he's alone. He seems to be holding a shoddy, if I'm not mistaken. It's a classic shoddy on shoddy action coming up here. Oh, the fence is going down. So is the HB slightly. Oh, Drassel's just going to go across the fence, straight into it. This is...
Are they fist fighting?
Slightly awkward. But in the end, it's going to be pissed all the time, getting that kill on the Matt Rusky. And unfortunately for him, that's going to be an early exit from and his team. Or his duo.
Yeah, probably the earliest exit you can get being 2 minutes into the game.
That's very true. That's an interesting circle. It's a very, very centric one.
Yeah, I don't think that many people will be sad about this circle, since it's very center-based, so there's not really any team that needs to travel far to get to the circle.
Yeah, indeed. And obviously, the middle of the map, there's going to be a lot of compounds that will be... obviously, we're going to see the second and third circle. It's going to kind of start dictating on how the game develops in terms of where you need to be positioned to be in an advantageous position. But still, obviously, a lot of opportunities here. Majority of the players are within the circle, so they don't really need to make moves here in the first circle at all.
Yeah, and we'll see, since this is duo compared to squad, it's not going to be that many compounds. You still have to fight over the compounds more in that sense, since usually it's 4 people taking a compound. Now it's going to be 2 people and twice as many teams. So we'll see how that turns out when we get to the smaller circles.
That's very true. And also, in a duos game, if let's say if you were in a situation where you could try and bottleneck people in terms of them trying to get out of, not so much maybe here on Erangel, but on Miramar, you have situations where a lot of time you can basically just put a toll up on a big road because everyone's just going to avoid going on the turn, basically, just because it's so hard to get on there, especially with the majority of the cars. So it gives you an opportunity to kind of make a toll booth and try to make sure that people are paying when they're using your road.
So we can see Drassel and Pistola Time getting the only kill. So they're in the lead.
They are in the lead.
Finals.
In the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, and here down in Millibase, we actually have a team with 2 players that we actually recognize. Owen QT and Piamantoma used to play in Avengar or Grab. I mixed them up a bit. Now Navi. So they're actually pro players in that sense.
Yeah. So
we'll see how they will pan out and perform in this final.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have a bit of an early fight here. Oduktiv is going to go down in HP. Question is, does he really have much to work with there in terms of healing, in terms of weaponry? It doesn't seem like he is.
Yeah, he hightailed to his teammate. But we'll see how it pans out. They have a little prodigy in the building.
Yeah, a bit of a crossfire actually going on here.
But they're still in the circle, so they don't need to stress it in that sense.
Yep.
But they still need to get something going in order to get loot.
Yeah, well, the first drop has come in as well. Let's see if anyone actually tries to go for it. Online right now. Ooh, there's actually a situation going on here. Sharp Shot is going to have to... Oh, never mind. He's the one that actually got the kill. I was actually confused there for a second, thinking that his teammate went down, but no, he was the one to take the frag. And that's... You always got to be careful in terms of transitioning. When you're moving along, especially close to different compounds, you kind of have to make sure that you don't get yourself in a situation where people are going to be able to shoot you as you're moving. That's a bit of a fight. Again, going at the same compound, but it seems to be slowed down thus far. Let's look at Pachinki. That's actually, again, we have 2 teams here, still looting, trying to find gear. And eventually, I think it's inevitable that they're going to be confronting one another.
Yeah, we'll see if they have a gentleman's agreement to just loot on and carry on.
Let's hope not. That's basically match fixing is that. So, ooh, a cheeky M24, just waiting for someone to come and pick it up.
Yeah.
No one's daring to. And that would be my go-to strategy, honestly. Just go for... Because you'd think, and in this kind of setting, that not a lot of dudes are going to be making their way to loot. Hula Silva.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm not wrecking his name.
It's that mind game knowing that it's risky to go for drops and no one will go for the drop.
Yeah.
So that's why you should go for the drop. But
exactly.
then if more people think like that, then they're actually going to contest for it. So it's a bit of a leveling game in that sense.
That's very true. 10 seconds before the zone is going to start moving, and still on the Billy Island. It's a bit of a stalemate here.
Yeah.
This team 19, Pat Caps and Little Prodigy, they're actually trying to probe, kind of find where the opposition right now is positioned, but they themselves now have a bit of a crossfire set up here. They're in 2 opposite side apartment buildings right now. Oh, never mind. He's actually outside it.
That's a pretty cute position.
That is actually very cute indeed.
I don't even know how do you even get there?
I didn't even notice he was there.
Yeah. I didn't saw me. I thought it was inside.
Yeah, same here. Well, Pat Caps might be in here for a bit of a fight. PM Enota is actually taking the first shots, and that's a lot of HP and damage done here. He's going for the hunt. He knows the HP is low. He's going to just commit to this push, but unfortunately for him, he can vault through the windows nowadays.
Yeah. The thing is that if he were to follow, he would have vaulted out and he could have been shot. So
yeah. Caps does go down, and now it's just all-out brawl going on here. They both go down. It's going to be another casualty here. We've lost a couple teams now.
Yeah, it's a bit more intense in the start compared to pro games in squads, but since people don't know where they're going to drop, they're going to have confrontations in that sense.
It's inevitable, you could say. As Schaffer
actually
now,
3 teams.
There's 3 teams with 3 individual players in 3 individual houses in 1 compound.
Yeah.
That's the setting.
Actually, there's 2 in that house, but they blocked each other. But still, 3 teams in a very small area. They're in the circle, so they're probably just going to sit here.
Yeah, if you want to play for the position, obviously.
Yeah, and they lost HP, so they know that they're there, and it's risky to push.
That's very
just
true.
to get the
now,
kills.
I think Pachinki might be the next one here for a bit of a fun time in terms of having a fight. Blackhot has found himself. That looked like a mini.
Yeah, it was a mini.
And I think he has a hunch of where his position is.
It looks like both of them know each other's positions.
Yep, it's very possible. Actually, Ghost is going to decide to just book it and change to another building. Might be a good choice to try to get some position. I'm not actually sure if they do know where Vladkot is, considering their movement.
Well, they probably know somewhat,
yeah, roughly
somewhere where it is, but not exactly what house. So maybe that's why they're moving to a different area of Pushinki.
Yeah, Vladkot himself is just kind of trying to see in here if they've changed positions right now. So we have 2 squads with 4 cars in total. Kind of roughly moving along here. It was pure raw. Edelweiss and their teams. There's a bit of fight here in Malta. Danny has spotted team number 50 going up north into the forest.
Something to take in consideration as well is if you travel by car and vehicles, it should be safer compared to squads, because usually it's 4 people shooting at you, now it's 2, so you're more likely to survive driving by a compound in duos compared to squads.
Yeah, but you still, like I said, you still got to be wary of choice of kind of where you go through.
Yeah.
Especially if you go through dense surroundings where there's a lot of houses, possibility of people, trying to get a quick one.
Yeah, you're more likely to bump into people, but it's only going to be 2 if you actually find people.
Yeah. Well,
and it's a bit of a stalemate here.
This is always interesting when you have the 2 barns and then the edge where there's Edelweiss and Hola Silva digging it out right now. The problem is that you don't have a lot of cover here in this position, and you're kind of stuck too.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky for them to move, but they're probably
Unless they have
just
a bike.
waiting. Yeah, they have
bikes.
2 bikes, so they're probably just going to wait for the circle and see where the next circle is, and then take it from there.
Yeah,
but they're somewhat surrounded actually.
Exactly. Massive advantage also for the team in the barn. As now 100%. The teams in Pachinki have spotted one another as Sharkies has gone down. He's dead, in fact. Not just knocked. So it's all down on Vladkot, the player who was taking all his time trying to scout out what was going on.
Yeah, it looks like he's hightailing it out of there.
He decides to just literally book it.
Yeah.
Like, well, I am out of here. I'm not feeling it. He's playing for that position. Might make sense, honestly.
Yeah, it's correct play if you want to...
Yeah.
For the long run, that sense.
Exactly.
Placement's more important than kills
in
in the
games,
start.
You'd go for the revenge.
Yeah. Now they know that they both land in Pushinki, so they have that knowledge going forward.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so we still have a bit of a Millie Island touch for the circle, so and a lot of water in that sense. So it's going to be a bit messy on the northern side.
Yeah, indeed.
And it looks like ONQ TV, and
that's going to be interesting to see the team on Millie Island right now. What are they going to do? Because there's obviously a variety of options here in terms of just taking the bridge or taking a boat over, as Tomai is shooting at something. A window, actually, but we're just going to see it.
Yeah. We can hear him shooting, but...
He was shooting at something. Yeah, this always makes for good games, actually, when the circle is as it is, because there's a lot of houses here, there's a lot of different surroundings that you can take over, and now the ones that did have the early position are going to be in an advantage, as Hola Silva is in a house with another team.
Yeah, I lost his teammate in the start there. Let's see if he can...
Well, he's not going to be able to win that fight. He goes down. Let's get him some extra loot here for Tomai and Pride to start things off.
So we'll see the military-based team. They're still looting, but we'll see if they're going to cross the bridge or stay on that side. We know that it's empty on that side, so we know the correct play, but we'll see what their read is in that sense.
Yeah, indeed.
Now we have another team coming to this compound.
There's already 3 teams here, boys. Might not be a great idea to get in there. Actually, they're just passing by casually. That might be a good choice. They're making their way towards the farm, but little do they know, there's a lot of teams in this area, so this is gonna get spicy here.
Yeah, as we alluded to earlier, since it's there are more teams, so you have to fight over compounds more.
Yeah, more to fight. He's going to spot a couple players who are pushing into this warehouse, but it's already Blizz is in here. He's going to go down. Going to get killed as well. It's going to be the warehouse in the hands of Fifi and his teammate. But there's another team close by, and actually Mudo is being spotted by a player. I think he was spotted by a player that was in the house on the south side. I think Carbon was the one that was taking the shots. And we have 2 Spearers in the game too.
Yeah.
And the boat going on as well.
Why not use the water?
I know, but right now, considering the situation, they cannot know exactly, but you kind of should have a hunch of going with a boat. We're going to end up in a situation where you're just wide open. Yeah. You're going to be wide open. This deep into it, you think people have already taken over the houses in the proximity of basically by the beach.
Yeah, we can also see Pistola time and his teammate moving up to the military island.
Interestingly.
Thinking that it's empty, and we can see the boat team.
Yeah.
Keep it the Slayer and his teammate actually leaving the boat and going on the beach of the Millie Island. So we have 3 teams on the southern side.
But these teams are not going to expect this to happen. So someone actually coming in with a car.
Yeah.
At this point in time. You're not going to expect that. That's a hard shot, by the way.
Yeah.
Hollow.
Especially with the hollow.
That can definitely be an issue. Not finding yourself a scope.
It looked like his teammate has a 4x, but still it's a hard shot to take.
I certainly wanted to see what the reaction is right now. Drassel is coming in. He must have noticed now. Kipi noticed that they're driving in. And they're going in.
Yeah, they're going to the other compound with own co-PT.
Yeah. I don't think they must have heard the shots that have been taken by the beach. They should have a hunch that people are actually here.
Yeah, they're a bit sandwiched between 2 teams now, so we'll see how
it's suboptimal.
Yeah. In a sense, they're protected by them, but still they're in between and sandwich, so we'll see how. Unless they get one of the players knocked out, finish them off.
Yeah. That strategy did not pay off now. Drassel is looking to just book it. As Kippy, I think, is the one that's gone down, or his teammate. They are literally on top of each other, so we cannot say 100% sure. That's the tab. His teammate here is occupying these rocks as it becomes another circle has been drawn, and a lot of compounds within that circle. The problem is that most of them are already taken.
Yeah, and the teams that decide to go to Miller Base will now regret that decision, since they have to hightail it back, either via water or by the eastern bridge.
Indeed, that's very true.
And we have 26 teams, and I don't think we have 26 compounds. So
we don't. I will spoil that party and say there's not. That's not a thing that's been happening here. Everyone's just trying to make their way into the middle of this circle, just to make sure they have the position when it comes to the one circle after this one here, because that's when it's going to be a massive bloodbath if it's not already. As KP right now taking shots on Piyama and Oda. His teammate is by a car, and actually they're going to be the ones to get that knock. It seemed like these guys here were the ones with in a lot of trouble, as they are now deciding to book it after getting that knock.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you get a knock, you know that his teammate has to rest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So unlike squads where you can have like one guy resting and 2 people still shooting, you know that he will have to go for the rest eventually.
Yeah.
So they should know that they're safe to get out of there.
What are they gonna do though?
Yeah.
If just going across here it's basically gonna be death.
Pretty much. We'll see what their decision is. It's a very open beach, so they might go for the compound where Team 29 is, and where they're fighting over Walk the Shame, Team 27.
Indeed. Well, 25 teams alive. As this circle starts shrinking.
So
both the teams are within the circle, though, right now.
Yeah, so they decided to go for the beach, and we'll see how it paints out. As one of them gets knocked, so it's all up to own QTV, or how you say that name.
Yeah, I think we're gonna wreck all these nicknames, but you know that's just the nature of the beast, basically, and you're just gonna have to live with it.
Yeah, they're using the boat as cover, so he can get the res up, but
Then
it's
there's nothing else.
suboptimal.
There's nothing else, excuse me, that they can use as a cover. Obviously, they're still within the circle. The problem is that they're getting pinched in from multiple angles right now. There's a team up north from them, on the west side, on the east side. So the likelihood for them to survive this, unless they just go for the swim as they are right now.
Yeah, the boat can only cover one side, so they were exposed to the eastern side.
It feels like delaying the inevitable, honestly, as Imperius does spot the player coming up, but cannot. Oh, does he connect? Because the HP is all the way down for one of the two players in Team 22. Trying to swim and make that into his cover.
Yeah. Now it's gonna get a bit messy with the next circle, since there are not that many compounds to choose from. As we see Drussel taking some damage from Mudov. And they're actually deciding to go for the push. Maybe they have a read that he's alone, and they saw him coming in by himself.
Well, it was time to make a move, wasn't it? Actually,
decided to make a move, but they got sniped by Kibili Slayer, I think.
Yeah, both teams that were in a fight have a player knocked as we move along here towards the west side. We're waiting to get a sight on what's going on here. Serial Phonios has spotted a player up in the woods.
Yeah,
another team.
The new circle, and yeah, some teams are going to be happy about it. For instance, Schaffer has been sitting there.
Yeah, he hasn't moved. He's lost his teammate all the way in the early parts of the game. Hasn't moved since.
And you can't blame him.
No, I mean, it is like I said, you kind of try to find, by the third circle, you kind of want to be within the middle parts of it, because the likelihood is very high that you're going to end up in the next circle, as Fifi right now taking shots into the, what are they called exactly? We call them, some people call them in Finnish, but they're moving houses.
Okay.
For some reason.
Yeah.
What's the Swedish call out?
For the
towers? For the
yeah, we call it Hunter Towers, for instance.
Towers.
That's what we do in my team friend circle of friends playing, at least.
Hunter houses. Fair enough.
But I don't know really what the official name is.
Yeah, I was thinking, what was the official name of it?
I heard Harry Potter House.
Potter, yeah. Thank you, production. Always helpful.
But can that really be official?
It's not official, obviously. we're just plugging Harry Potter at that point.
Yeah.
But why not? It's Harry Potter after
This
all.
broadcast is sponsored by Harry Potter.
Philosopher's
Stone.
Make that happen.
Yeah.
Make a couple phone calls. Maybe it'll be a thing.
Yeah, call J.K. Rowling and see what we can sort out.
It's all in the realm of possibilities. As the teams right now in the northwest side of the circle, there's actually a bunch of teams that are still outside the circle, but good for them. They are relatively close to it. Actually, the tab right now in a car is outside in the blue. He's going to have to make a move in some hasty decisions as E.T. Zesty is taking some shots on shaking off his teammate, and they've flipped the car. The car has blown up. The team's wiped.
I will say, see you next game.
Yeah, exactly. That didn't turn out exactly as you would have wanted. And that's always the thing when you're moving into the circle, into the new zone later, when teams have already taken a position, you're always compromising things. And now, as we can see again, the Zupa and his teammate have a couple teams, but also actually Sharpshot HD within the new zone. It's also taking on the same players that are coming in, so the teams that are trying to make their way into the zone are in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah.
The early adapters, they were the ones to have the advantage.
Yeah, these three teams have been basically sitting here for 15 minutes or so and just enjoying the game so far. Listening into the action.
Yeah. Just listening on the singing of the weapons, if you will. Tezuka is making his way into this compound. His teammate is within the house?
Yeah, that's goes or goes.
Indeed. Spotted team
but 13. They're not in circle, so we gotta move in 10 seconds or so.
Yeah, they gotta move now. The transition needs to start happening, but there's some shots been taken. Ghost has gone down outside the blue. In the blue, I mean. And, well, that's another team going down. We're starting to lose a lot of teams here. 18 teams now remaining. As the fight in this compound, or actually close proximity to the compound. We're talking about where the teams were just sat for the majority of the game. Finally, they've had to contest here as Empire. Soapy is trying to get some shots. He goes into the house. He's trying to play a game of Bigaboo. And there we go. He actually does make it happen. Snoopy just holding that house. And his teammate is coming in as well. But
yeah, Empire, the Russian organization. So
yeah, Team Empire. They've got one of the better Twitter games ever, by the way.
Better Twitter games?
Their Twitter is usually fire. Straight up fire.
Oh.
It's just memes. All day memes.
Yeah, I guess.
That's what social media is all about. Memes.
Nowadays it is. The kids. We oldies can't understand the memes, but sometimes.
Indeed. 16 teams alive. Again, Schaffer is within the new zone. As for some reason, there's a VSS in play here for Kickstart. I don't know why, but what's your thoughts on VSS?
Yeah, well, I've seen people who are incredible with it, but I can't get it to work. I think it's like a paintball gun. Basically, you can see the bullet drop, and
for me, it's like a tennis ball gun.
Yeah,
feels like
it doesn't feel like a gun.
For me, I feel like the big problem is maybe it's just because I'm blind, but I feel like the scope gets all black.
Yeah, it's a bit messy. It's like a lot of information in it, and the bullet drop is, I don't like it, but I've seen people who are good with it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, how
close proximity, because the fire rate is so high.
Yeah, if you get an extended mag on it, it's okay in close combat and semi-close combat, and it's very quiet. So
now,
if you know how to work it,
teams here on the east side, they're gonna have to make their way into the new circle. This is
shooting up in the air, but it's a visual bug for us.
It's a visual bug, yeah. We gotta remember. He wasn't actually shooting in the ceiling, as we have Fifi here making his way, actually being gunned down now in transition by Empire.
Yeah, with a 4x.
Jeez, these nicknames, man.
Yeah, they have 6 kills, so they're on top of the list when it comes to kills, at least. But we'll see if they can top that off with a nice placement finish.
Super tough for these teams out to the circle. Try to get some ground. Trying to find a setting where they're gonna be comfortable, because there's bullets just hailing everywhere from all these teams that have been here from the early parts of the game.
And a few compounds are actually on high ground, so they can have perfect view down on everybody.
Yeah,
moving in.
That's very true. High ground of that.
Oh,
you've
that
lost
hurts.
an eye.
Yeah. Walking Dead, Carl Grimes.
Now Soapylicious is gonna just get eaten by that zone, so he needs to move.
Yeah.
He's losing HP by bullets, I think, as well. Mortify himself is on the edge. I'm not sure. I think it.
Yeah, we have 12 teams with 18 people alive, so a lot of solo guys left.
He needs to be Mortify as well. And he's gonna spot Soapylicious, and Mortify actually going down in HP. You see, no, well, he's done for. He's done for by the zone eventually.
Yeah, the zone start to hurt a lot now.
It does. It does. It does really sting. Again.
Actually, they both died as well.
Schaffer will have to move finally.
Oh, if we leave the house.
He made it his home.
But he doesn't move far. He doesn't have to move far, and he has just a few meters, and he should find some cover.
Considering that Team 31 with Pride and his teammate still 2 alive in a very, very good position, they should be pretty good in terms of this game actually right now.
Yeah, they have a field day shooting people running around in the open.
All you got to do right now is just connect some bullets, and that's the easiest part of PUBG.
Yeah, for some at least. I can't speak for myself.
There.
Yeah, well, I can't speak for myself.
Me neither. Actually, there's days that I feel like, I'm on point, but then most days I feel like, where are my bullets going? What's going on with this game? It's not functioning correctly.
Yeah, sometimes you just feel it and then it all works out, but most of the time, it's the other way around.
Yeah, well, start kick, making his way, has a car, trying to find something he can work with, but problem is that there's Piyama Inota here behind him, taking shots, manages to knock Kickstart down.
Yeah, I can't see his teammate.
Yeah,
so
where's his teammate? That's the
maybe
question. He's to the left from Piyama Inota.
He decided to go in early.
Guess he was scouting out.
Yeah.
A sharp shot. He's by
Sharp shot HD actually. So yeah,
high definition obviously. Can't forget that. important factor. And, oh, well, his team is down now. Again, it's because of considering also the layout. Pride and Tomai right now, they have the high ground advantage as well. They are on top of a little slight bump, basically, on the map. Within the circle, they can just shoot all angles. They have windows to every direction. Oh, there's a level 3 vest there.
Yeah,
and
that
adrenaline syringe. Bullets if you need them.
He's actually done a really good job, considering he was alone when he came in with the boat and lost his friend Pidala, so he's been managing to work his way into the circle nicely.
It's literally been a game of surviving for him. And it's just Lucky has gone down, has been knocked. But team number 50.
Maybe he's getting rest right now.
Could be the case. Yeah, because you're correct. Sometimes hard to tell because the little balloons are quite big. As the zone is coming in, so they're gonna. You gotta move, mate. You gotta move. The zone needs you up alive. Oh, he's on the edge, I think. Oh no.
What are you doing?
How's this gonna work out for him? It's not looking good. Oh, he does survive.
Barely.
Oh, never mind. Speaking of surviving, this is gonna get shot in the end. I think his strategy was not on point there in the end. Because again, we have a lot of individual players here. Pyama and Nota still managing to be alive.
Yeah, they're barely any compounds in the new circle, so it's gonna get action filled.
It's gonna get messy here. As flashbangs are flying in, Kama is trying to infiltrate this house. His teammate doesn't have a helmet. That is a slight issue in terms of trying to survive a fight. As is there a rest going up? Yep, there's a rest going on as the push is coming in, and they're both dead. Okay, did they just trade?
Yeah, that looked really odd.
How did they trade? It was a one-on-one fight.
Yeah, if you shoot at the same time, I guess.
Yeah,
in theory, since it's actually a bullet time in this game.
Team number 50 is in the zone. They're the only ones that are in the zone, and they also have a slight high ground advantage now. We see that Pyama and Nota has made his way into this building. They should have heard him. Kame and Strandoms, maybe, yeah.
Depending on where he's from, but
they are running down.
I think they have an idea. Or hope for their sake that they do.
Yeah.
We'll see.
This could end up as
it's gonna be messy if he gets a knock. He's gonna block the stairs, so his teammate can't push with him.
I don't think they have a clue, do they?
Yeah, the circle is moving in, so they gotta move soon.
They do have to make a move here.
He doesn't have a helmet as well, so he can actually get this 1v2 off.
There we go.
As multi-far flight through there.
Nota does take the kills. He does manage to wipe out the team, and now he has to make the move. Empire still, they're on the south side of the edge of the circle. So there's two teams of two duos still alive and one individual. Pyama and Nota has made a massive job here, considering how his game has been in terms of obviously his teammate going down early on in the game.
Yeah, 8 kills so far, and I guess that most of them, if not all, comes from Pyama and Nota.
And that's kind of the nature of duos, though. You can definitely do a lot of damage in terms of staying alive if you do get into the zone. That's the number one thing. But then Mr. Fuse HD as well gets a really, really nice Car 98 shot in. And now it's a 2-on-2 fight coming up here. Bardave taking some shots.
Yeah, they both have 6 kills.
Ooh, that's a good one there. Nice massive tag onto Snoopy with a Car 98. Well, there's still some trees that they can utilize in terms of cover. Nades do rain in. That's the question. If you have a lot of nades at this point in time, be it smokes or HE grenades, can be a big difference maker. Especially now that there's obviously not that much cover. Having those smoke grenades can be a vital part of being able to clinch this one here.
Yeah, it's not 1v2 and his team will bleed out, so it's effectively a 1 versus 2, and it's a very open circle. So if they just stay up looking at him, he has to prone through the grass, and eventually they will see him. Yeah. Most likely, we'll see.
Usually,
it's be tricky for him.
Yeah, exactly. Now, are either the teams within the circle? It seems like they're both on the edges of it.
Yeah, it's
here comes the smokes. They're trying to build a cover here. Just one more smoke he has left, though. I think. Fuse is going to be able to get a shot in. Their sight. The
smoke cycling going in his advantage, so he can get through the tree and he has position on them. We'll see if he can get a 1 nade in. He can make it a one-on-one.
Right, no smoke coming in. Progress to another. Oh, that nade though. Mr. Fuse goes down in HP. He's just trying to recover from it.
He doesn't have a helmet as well, so he needs to connect with his shot.
Just become like a duking it out behind these trees. Ooh, the nade comes so close. That could have made a difference. So this is the point in time where you might want to just actually make an aggressive play. As we do see, actually Bardave is making his move in, but Empire, ooh, it ends up it's just a duking out behind those trees in the end. And again, well, the grenades they managed to utilize the smokes, but actually ended up in the favor of their opponents. Yeah, Piyama Inota.
Yeah,
he had 8 kills to the 0 of his teammate, who died.
So they should be really happy about his performance.
Huh?
Yeah, they should be really happy about his performance, like getting a 3rd place finish after losing his teammate so early.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was a lot of fun. It's a lot. Obviously, again, in a sense, too, like similar to like the competitive side of like an actual, structured competitive esports side of PUBG. Still, the rule of people, utilizing the center stage of the circle in terms of when the 3rd circle comes in or so. Still obviously the same things apply in this kind of surrounding or this kind of environment in terms of playing duos. But early parts still a little bit more action than in squads.
Yeah, what I really like about duos is also that we saw one player doing it himself, basically getting good place finishes. Only 1 versus 2 in all situations. Instead of losing your 3 teammates, you can't really do that much alone in squads.
Exactly.
So it's nice even if you lose your teammate, you can still manage to get a good placing and even win the game if you play your cards really well.
I mean, Piyama Inota obviously being the prime example. 8 kills. His teammate went down early. Still managed to make it, 3rd in the game? Yeah. So that's a very good one. Let's see some highlights, though, of this game. What kind of stuff happened? This early, obviously, the early fights. Piyama Inota actually here, being the main man, spraying through the window. He gets the kills.
Getting 2 of his total of 8 kills in the early part.
Yeah, this is the flipping car, the exploding car, if you will, of the teams that were trying to get into the zone in the later stages of the game. And obviously Halo bullets coming in from left, right, and center for these teams that were trying to get into position. And Piyama Inota, again, he had a massive game, obviously. He had so many kills, but the way he just managed to survive throughout the game is quite remarkable, honestly.
Yeah, he managed to take out 4 teams on his own, pretty much. So,
yeah, the next ones were, this is the trade kill we saw. Again, look at this. They both are taking bullets to 1. Oh, did he manage to just res? And the player, no, it just...
His teammates. His teammate actually managed to knock him.
That was weird.
Yeah.
That was weird in the weirdest sense. Again, players trying to get into the zone. Just not managed to make it and ended up in this 1-on-1. And look at those splits in the end there.
Yeah.
That's the player died there. Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of fun, obviously. I really did enjoy just the kind of, obviously, the change in the sense of how, obviously, these players or these teams or these duos were not as honed or, didn't necessarily have everything thought out coming into it. How are we going to rotate? Obviously, teams have very precise ways of rotating in squads and stuff like that. But that obviously makes it more interesting from a viewing perspective.
Yeah. And also now the teams know where they land and such, so going forward they know, like, okay, this team landed here, this team landed there, and now they have a feel for each other, at least in that sense. Yeah. So it's going to see how they take it going forward into Game 2 and onwards.
Speaking of that, we're going to be taking a bit of a break before we do move on to that Game 2, so don't go anywhere. Stick around.